everyone. Today, my topic of the day would be based on a book called Parable of the Pipeline by Burke Hedges. This Parable of the Pipeline by Burke Hedges is a book based on a story which in terms compared to our current day or present life, I will let you know how it happens. I'll quickly run through the story of the book and what is the message author is trying to pass on. Okay. So once upon a time, long ago, two ambitious young cousins, they were cousins, Pablo and Bruno, who lived side by side in a small Italian village. So the young men were best buddies and they were big dreamers. So they would talk endlessly about how someday, somewhere, they would become richest men in the village, like most of us do. So they were both bright, hardworking, and all they were looking for was an opportunity, and they didn't know what opportunity would be the one vehicle which would make them rich. Right? So one day it so happened that the village decided to hire two men to carry water from a nearby river into the cistern of the town square. Cistern means it's a small tank in the city town square where people can come and fetch the water from there, but it would be far off if they have to go to the river. So they appointed two people, and Bruno and Pablo got the job. So one day that opportunity, since they got it, they started right away with the work, and the village head decided per bucket of water carried from the river to the cistern would be 1 penny. So the two cousins set off the work, and they would go walk up to the river, fetch the water in the bucket. They would carry two empty buckets, fetch the water, and come back. So through the day, they would do a couple of trips, and soon they started noticing their money, increase. So they started calculating, like, if I walk faster, make the number of trips more per day, soon I can make $1 per day. To do $1, it would be 100 trips, right? So they in their mind, they started thinking in that way and started working. What happened? The job went to Pablo and Bruno, right? So each man grabbed the buckets and they were working, but the mindset of these two cousins were different. I will tell you how. Because of the trips they were doing, their backs started aching and the hands and the legs started blistering because they had to walk for miles together, right? It dreaded getting up and going to work every morning. So initial pride or the energy was getting sapped, and they were getting bored of getting up in the next day morning and starting working for the same routine. So what happened? Pablo got an idea one day, and he said, "Bruno, I have a plan. Instead of lugging buckets back and forth for a penny a day, let's build a pipeline from the village to the river, or vice versa." So Bruno, he did not believe in that idea. He said, "What pipeline? No pipeline. This is the way to make money. Let's keep doing this." And Bruno just put it off that idea. He did not believe in it. But Pablo, what he did, he used to, through the day, he used to do that, carry the bucket water to the village. But through the day, part of the time he used to dedicate to build pipeline. So initially it was very hard for him because he was alone at the task. He had to break through the rocks, make way, then lay pipeline one by the. Since one person at work, it took some time every day for him to do. But Bruno's income increased because that time he used to lug the water from river in the buckets. So he made more money. But Pablo's income was less by the day because he was focusing on building the pipeline also. So it so happened, uh, Pablo, when he saw Bruno making more money, he was not discouraged. He patiently explained to himself that the pipeline plan was the was a, will work in the long term, and at one point in time, he doesn't have to really work that hard, and he can make money. Bruno was earning almost twice the money of Pablo, flaunted his, money, and since he had extra money, he purchased unnecessary things, or he upgraded his hut. He bought a leather saddle with horse. He got a horse also, which this Pablo was not having. Because he was having less income, so he had to manage with it. Bruno started, flaunting his money, throwing his money in the town bar, made a lot of friends. He had weekends where he just enjoyed, wasted his time. But Pablo used his weekend time also to build the pipeline. And it was very discouraging, because we had to self-drive himself. So Pablo kept reminding himself that tomorrow's dreams are built on today's sacrifices. Day by day, he dug inch by inch and foot by foot. So over a period of time, kilometers of pipeline was laid out. Now he saw that his truck walked up to the pipeline halfway through. So his journey, what was initially was up to the riverbed, now it was halfway. So the time that he took to fetch the water was less because some of it was coming in the pipeline to half the distance. So his work was less now. So over a period of time, up to the town Caesarea, his pipeline was built. So from the river through the pipeline, the water would come due to the inclination, and you would collect. Now you fix the charge to the town that per gallon this much money they have to pay. And so it happened. He stopped going to the river to get the bucket of water, and whatever water came through the pipeline, he started making money. He automated that income. But by then, what had happened? Bruno had grown tired after 8 to 10 years of this checking water in bucket. His shoulders drooped. He became weak, and his socializing stopped because he had to work hard to keep that income going because he had a lot of commitments. Do you see the similarities? So, and he would see Pablo and think sometimes I should have listened to him long back, but his self-esteem kept him aside, and he continued his work. But soon Pablo did not stop here. He had a bigger dream that why don't I build such a pipeline for other villages, other places around the world, and make more money, right? But he alone took more than 4 to 5 years to build pipeline to his village. So he alone cannot achieve it. He needed more people to buy into his dream and do it. So what he did, he again approached Bruno and he said that, see, with all my hard work, though I initially did it by myself, I learned a lot of lessons from mistakes I made. I made a lot of notes. Now it will be much easier, but I need people support. You being my friend, I want you to join hands with me. I'll teach you those skills. Please start helping me and let us do it. Let us build. So reluctantly, Bruno joined, but because he was seeing the success of Pablo, so they applied this project in the next village, and they made success. and they shared the revenue made out of this automated pipeline, and they started enjoying life. I mean, like, while traveling around, they found people still carrying buckets. They would go and talk about the story, success story. But people who had not seen this, they would just brush aside and say, no, this is the way to make money. You guys are speaking some nonsense. So that is the story what Barke just says, but he compares it to our lives. How does he compare? Like Bruno and Pablo, nothing but it could be me and you who are in our job profile, chugging our water from to village. But is it? Can we become rich through it? Is it? Does it never dry? The buckets never dry. Definitely someday it dries, right? But what alternatives do we have? Do we have that any alternative? So this the author provokes us to think in this way. The problem with bucket carrying is that the money stops when the bucket carrying also stops, which means the concept of a secure job or a dream job is an illusion. The inherent danger of carrying buckets is that the income is temporary instead of ongoing. If Bruno woke up one morning with a stiff back and couldn't get out of bed, how much money would he earn that day? Zero, right? So, no work, no money. The same goes for a bucket carrying job also. Once bucket carries stops to carry buckets for any reason, they won't continue to get paychecks. There is no such thing as a secure bucket carrying job, no matter how great it seems. So we have to look for alternatives. We have to, along with the job, we have to have some alternate source of income where even if we work or not, that we should generate income. The overall gist of it from Barcages is that. Thank you.